everyone! Welcome to another Lunch and Learn. My name is Cuppy and I'm a Braille instructor here at Savvy. And today I'm going to be talking to you about Braille. I'm going to be talking about the importance of Braille, and then I'll be showing you how to write the alphabet. So for those of you who don't know, Braille is a tactile reading and writing system used by blind people. Now, Braille is a very important skill for blind people to know because it gives us equal access to literacy and it promotes greater independence. In fact, blind people who know Braille have a much higher likelihood of obtaining employment and pursuing higher education. Beyond the benefits in school and the workplace, Braille is actually a really useful tool in your everyday life because Braille is everywhere. You'll find Braille in elevators, on restroom signs, and on other signage. You can use Braille around the house by labeling things like spices or household cleansers. And you can also use it for personal writing, like jotting down a phone number or making a grocery list. There's just lots of ways that you can implement Braille in your daily life. So let's get started. So Braille is actually pretty easy to practice at home, even if you don't have any Braille learning materials. You can just find things around the house that you can use to practice. So in front of me, I have a muffin tin, and my muffin tin is flipped vertically so that I have 3 rows of 2 slots on either side. So the muffin tin represents a Braille cell, and Braille is made up of different cells. So each individual cell is a character. So it can be a letter, number, punctuation, or contraction. And so within the cell, you have 6 dots. And how those dots are filled is what's going to determine what character is going to be in that cell. So I have balls, ping pong balls, to represent dots. And really, you can use any small object to fill in those slots of the muffin tin. And if you don't have a muffin tin, you can also use a half-dozen egg carton. So before we get started, I just wanted to let you know that if you have any questions throughout this video, go ahead and comment them, and I'll do my best to answer them. So let's get started. So like I said, within each Braille cell is 6 dots. So right now, we're gonna start with dot 1. So dot 1 is in the very top left corner of your muffin tin. So I just put a ball in dot number 1. Then dot 2 is right below that in the very middle left portion of the cell. And dot 3 is in the bottom corner on the left side. Then going to dot 4, it's going to be the top dot on the right side. Dot 5 is right below it on the right in the middle. And dot 6 is the very bottom right corner. So knowing where the dots are located within the cell is going to be really important for learning Braille. So now we're just going to focus on the first 10 letters of the alphabet. And once you know the first 10 letters of the alphabet, the rest of the alphabet will come easy because it actually follows a pattern. So for your first 10 letters, you're only going to be focusing on the top portion of the cell. So these first 10 letters will only use dots 1, 2, 4, and 5. So you can kind of forget about the bottom part of the cell for now. So let's start with the letter A. A is probably the easiest letter of the whole alphabet because it's just a dot 1. And so I just put a ping pong ball in the top left corner of my muffin tin for dot 1. So then we have B, which is dots 1 and 2. So I have a ping pong ball in the top left corner of the cell and then right below it in the middle for dot 2. So that's a B. Now a C is dots 1 and 4. So 1 and 4 are going to be located, they're going to be the top 2 slots of your muffin tin. So that's for C, 1 and 4. Then a D is 1, 4, and 5. So we're using the top 2 dots and then the middle dot on the right side for D. E is dots 1 and 5. So it's kind of slanted downwards. Then there's F, which is dots 1, 2, and 4. And if you're familiar with print at all, the Braille letter F kind of looks like the top of a capital print F. Then the letter G is one of my favorites because it's just a square. It's dots 1, 2, 4, and 5. So it's going to take up the entire top portion of that cell. Now H is dots 1, 2, and 5. So the top and the middle part of the left side of the cell, and then the very middle dot of the right side. Next is I, which is dots 2 and 4. So I is going to slant upwards. And finally you have J, which is dots 2, 4, and 5. So again, once you know those first 10 letters, the rest of the alphabet is going to be a lot easier because it does follow a pattern, and you can also use those first 10 letters to write numbers, which I'll show you after the alphabet. Okay, so for the pattern, you're going to start back at the letter A, which is dot 1. And so for these next 10 letters, they're going to be the same exact letters, except with a dot 3 added. So that means that the letter K is a dot 1 and a 3, because it's an A with a dot 3. Then the letter L is dots 1, 2, and 3. So it's just a straight line that fills up the entire left side of the cell. Then you have the letter M, which is dots 1, 3, and 4, or a C with a dot 3. After that is N, which is 1, 3, 4, and 5. Next is O, which is dots 1, 3, and 5. So again, following that pattern, you could kind of look at it as an E with a dot 3. Then the letter P is dots 1, 2, 3, and 4. And a Q is dots 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. So I have all of the slots on my muffin tin filled except for dot 6 in the bottom right corner. Now an R would be an H with a dot 3. So that's 1, 2, 3, and 5 for R. An S is dots 2, 3, and 4. And then finally the letter T is dots 2, 3, 4, and 5. And that's the next 10 letters of the alphabet. So the remaining letters in the alphabet also follow that pattern with the exception of W. And I'll cover that when we get there. So now continuing on with the alphabet, U is a dots 1, 3, and 6. So in these last letters of the alphabet, you're adding a dot 6 to the pattern. So technically it would be an A with a dots 3 and 6. Then the letter V is dots 1, 2, 3, and 6. Now here's the W, which again doesn't follow the pattern. And so a W is a dots 2, 4, 5, and 6. So you're going to have your ping pong balls in the middle dot of that left side of the cell, and then the entire right portion of the cell is going to be filled. Okay, so then it picks back up on the pattern with the letter X. So X would be a C with a dots 3 and 6 added. So an X is dots 1, 3, 4, and 6. So all 4 corners of the cell should be filled. Then a Y is dots 1, 3, 4, 5, and 6. So all of the dots in the cell except for dot 2. And finally a Z which is dots 1, 3, 5, and 6. So again, it's all based around those first 10 letters. And like I said, knowing those first 10 letters will also help you with the numbers as well. So the numbers directly correspond with the first 10 letters of the alphabet. So the numbers 1 through 9 correspond with the letters A through I, and then J is 0. So let me show you what I'm talking about. So the way you differentiate the numbers and letters is anytime you see a number, it's going to have the number sign in front of it, which really quickly, the number sign is dots 3, 4, 5, and 6. And so again, that's going to be the thing that tells you that that's a number instead of a letter, okay? So let's just start with number 1. So number 1, again, would have that number sign in front of it. And like I said, the numbers correspond with the first 10 letters of the alphabet. So number 1 would be the number sign, and then an A next to it with a dot 1. Then the number 2 is a number sign with a B next to it, so dots 1 and 2. The number 3 would be the number sign and a C, because the C is the third letter of the alphabet, so dots 1 and 4, and so on. So if you wanted to write the number 8, for example, you would put the number sign and the letter H, which is 1, 2, and 5, because that is the 8th letter in the alphabet. And then again, the number 0 is a number sign and then a J. So as you can see, Braille is a really important tool that's actually pretty fun and easy to practice at home. So that was just a brief rundown of the Braille cell and the Braille alphabet. So really quickly, I just wanted to show you a couple of different tools that are used to write Braille. So in front of me, to my right, I have a Braille writer. It's a Perkins Brailler, and it's essentially like a Braille typewriter. I also have a slate and stylus, which is another tool used to write Braille. And there are many different types of slates and styluses. Mine is a plastic 4-line slate. So the slate is essentially a frame that you can place your paper in between. And the slate has 4 lines of different windows, and each little window represents a Braille cell. And then the stylus is a small tool with a point at the end that's used to actually press down and write the dots within the Braille cell. There are actually a lot of online resources that I'm going to include in the comments, including a free slate and stylus program through the National Federation of the Blind, and a couple of links where you can find free Braille books, as well as online Braille classes. So if you have any questions, again, you can leave a comment below, or you can contact me through my email at kcuppy@savvy.us. That's KCUPPY@savvy.us. And also give a comment below if you liked this video and want to see more like it. Thank you so much for joining me for Lunch and Learn. I really hope you enjoyed it. I'll see you next time. Bye!